and we are very excited right now to have Dan Meyer with us, and we're going to be talking with him a little bit today about customer service, which is a very important thing for any business.
Yeah. Like critical.
Absolutely.
Critical.
Got to keep those customers coming back.
And that's the whole deal, is getting them to come back. That old adage, what, two in the hand's worth one in the bush is worth two in the hand.
I've heard that, but I
Which
don't know how it goes.
One in the hand is worth two in the bush, because you got this one.
Right.
The other ones you may or may not get. And the chances are when you go for one, you'll scare the other one off. And then you've neglected the one you had. And I find that all too often in businesses where we're so focused on getting new customers that we forget about the ones we got. I have to admit, I've ranted, not in my own ranting way, with some folks who offer better deals for new customers than they do for their existing customers. And does that make any sense?
No.
Or you call them up and you say, oh, by the way, I heard so-and-so is getting this rate. Oh, yeah, we've offered that for 9 months. I said, why didn't you tell me? If you're going to do something special for a new customer that you can do, notify the ones you've got. You want to endear your customers. You don't want to push them off. You don't want to marginalize them. You want to do good things for them. So important to keep the customers you've got. Let me just give you some ideas. First off, you got to be easy to do business with. I know some people, I swear you'd think you're on Shark Tank. To do business with them. It's kind of like, well, why should I do business with you? Or you say, here's a price I got from someplace else, can you match it? Which is a reasonable thing to ask. It's your money. It's reasonable to ask. Oh, we can't do that. I mean, really? If they can do it, you can't do it? Now, there are some situations, I know, in different industries where margins are very different. But you need to be sure that you're easy to do business with. You need to respond quickly. Most experts will tell you if you get a call that you can't take, you need to respond within 2 hours to get right back to them.
Right.
And acknowledge the fact that, hey, thanks for waiting. I got back as quick as I could. Again, you're emphasizing what you're doing to respond to them. You want to be sure that you've given those individuals, those customers, key contact information. So that if something does go wrong, they're not stuck out in forever land, listening to Muzak on the phone. Right. Or leave your message, those kind of things. Personal contact, very important. I've noticed there's it's a business out of Charlotte that advertises. Obviously, we don't have a major network here, so these are Charlotte commercials. But they're saying, hey, the owner says, here's my cell phone number. You call me anytime. That's powerful. Definitely. If he answers it. That's very powerful stuff, because what he's saying is, look, I stand behind what I do. I'm ready to serve you. And so here's my information. Some businesses are very difficult to find, very difficult to contact once you do get them. You just can't beat somebody answering the phone, that person, not a machine. In fact, we get compliments all the time, or I shouldn't say we do, Wisteria does, because that voice on the phone, they know that voice, and she responds the same way to every person that answers the phone, and that voice is welcomed. Secondly, you need to be sure you're adding value. If you can get the same product at 4 different places, where are you going to get it? Let me ask you, where are you going to get it? If you can get
the best value.
Well, let me ask you this: grocery stores, same stuff. They all have produce. They all have meat. They all have groceries. They all have all these things. Why do you go where you go?
I go because it's convenient where I go, or the quality.
Quality, incredibly important.
The price.
Pricing, very important.
Yeah. Customer service.
Customer service, presentation. Those are intangibles, but they're vitally important. Now, obviously, cost is a tangible.
Right.
But you know what? If the atmosphere is great, if the people are friendly, if it's presented well, guess what? You'll pay a little more.
That's right.
To go to that place.
Right.
So those are all value-added things. Same stuff, but value-added offering and presentation from that business. So always add value. 3, stay in touch with your customers. It's one of the things we have 850 members. So we try to keep in touch. So every other week we send out the e-voice that gives a calendar of events. We'll send them notices about special events. We encourage them to refresh their site on our website, their information. We encourage them to put out hot deals, we call them. Now, we're contacting them, but in turn, they're putting something on there that's good for their customers. We've gone to Facebook. Those are all contacts. Facebook has gone bananas.
It has.
Oh, and good, because that means I'm in touch with the chamber, or I'm in touch with that person. We don't tweet, because tweeting doesn't quite accomplish the same thing, at least for our business. But stay in touch with them, regular communication, so that there's not too much time between contacts that you kind of, well, who are they? Oh yeah, I remember them now, that kind of deal. So stay in touch with them. And don't just call about business, ask about other things. Like I could ask you, I know you like to go to the beach, you and your family, so when's the next time you're going back?
I'm hoping in a couple of months.
Okay.
I am like the queen of traveling.
And you love to go to the beach. You go to the beach several times a year.
I do.
Now, how would I know that? Because we've talked about it.
Yeah, talking.
Even before we're on the air or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I've remembered that that's something that's of interest to you. So now if I come back and I want to sell you something, provide a service or whatever, you're going to subconsciously say, yeah, he knows a little about me. He knows he's interested in my family. And those are all important things. So you got to stay in touch with your customers. Know something about it. The real salesman who's really doing nothing but sales often has a book or has a machine where he can jot down. Remember birthdays. You get those birthday announcements sometimes, You can get them from restaurants because you've signed up for the birthday club, and all that type of thing. So stay in touch with your customers. Next, you got to talk their language. And most of us have one or two sectors where we can be fairly conversant in language, in how we talk about our product or service. But you have to know the lingo. You have to know some of those abbreviations that they use, like you're at the pharmacy, or Boone Drug. So what does BID mean?
Boone Drug Incorporated.
No, that's not what. That's BDI.
Oh, what did you say?
BID.
Oh, sorry. I don't know.
That's twice a day.
I'm not in the pharmacy.
Handle the mess.
Bad example. But talk their language. If you were to go to a foreign country, how do you engage people there? You got to know a little bit about the language. Now, most of us know a little bit to butcher it, but at least it says, I'm interested in knowing and I'd like to converse with you. Got to tell you, 92, Pam and I had a chance to go to Europe, and so we went to Paris, and we went into the Louvre, incredible art museum. And we went down this huge escalator under the glass pyramid, and Pam was looking for the restroom. And she knew a little, so she walked up to the information desk and she says, La toilette. And the voice came back to her in this Boston brogue. It's over there under the escalator. But she was trying. She's making an attempt. But we need to know the lingo so that we can converse and so that we speak their language. Another thing we need to do is admit mistakes. You ever make them?
Yeah.
So you admit them up front, quickly. Oh, my error. I'm sorry, I blew it, and here's the plan to fix it. Not just, I'm sorry, or if there's anything I can do for you. Well, no, that kind of puts the burden back on them to make it right or to tell you. Offer a plan to remediate, to make up for, or to overcome that error, because we all make them. So respond immediately, apologize, have a proposal to make it work. We'll get that at the chamber. Somebody said, we're ready to renew, and they say, you know what, we don't think, we didn't get this done, or we didn't get that done. And I said, really? Well, how can we do that for you then? And can we do this? And can we do this? Can we add a category on the website? Oh, we don't have your right email address. Well, please share with that, and know that you can call us anytime when that changes, because you don't know it if somebody doesn't tell you. And work with people. Work with them. Provide a solution. Never present a problem or try to deal with a problem without a solution. And we all make mistakes. Another one, pay attention. The most important part of communication is not talking, it's listening.
Right.
And especially when it's providing service or providing an item, is you want to know, what is the customer really looking for?
Right.
And the only way you're going to find that out is if you listen. And if you ask questions that give you more information so that you can more appropriately hit all of the buttons that they're looking for. So it's important to listen and ask questions, venture an answer, and if that's not right, then back up, listen to some more, and get the answer so that it's right, so that you're really providing what they need. If I walked into an auto parts store and say, well, I need a power steering pump, and they say, well, I'm not sure we have what you need. Well, now wait a minute, you should have said what? Well, what kind of car? What year of car? Mm-hmm. What's the model? Because different models even have different power steering pumps. Or do you want us to do a major job, or do you want us to do it a minor? So you ask questions so that the answer that you provide them then hits the buttons.
Right.
So admit mistakes, pay attention, be that good listener. Keep notes. We talked about that. Jot notes down. This person usually likes this. Or, how about this one? This person, the last time I came in, I brought them a cup of coffee, and that really primed their pump, and they were very receptive to what I wanted to do. Little things like that. You're not buying them. You're just saying you're important, and so I'm keeping track of those things. You need to find out how you can connect with them and how you can improve on your interaction with them. Next, don't take customers for granted. We just assume that they're going to do it again. They're going to order again. They're going to reorder, or they're going to come back to us. Don't make those assumptions, because in this is a very competitive market. I don't care what service you're providing. It's very competitive. And people are using the internet. They know what they can get it for, certain places. So when they ask you, maybe the best question isn't to say, when they say, how much is it? Maybe the best question to ask at that point is, well, what have you seen it advertised for? Because I really want your business, and I'd like to be able to be competitive. Because your original price may be way up here, and if they hear that, you're gone. They'll go someplace else. Mm-hmm. But if they say, well, I found it for this price, can you match it? And you might not be able to. You might say, you know what, I really can't match it, but I tell you what, I'm local, and I can provide service, and I can deliver it to you, and you don't have to wait for transit, and you don't have to find somebody else to install it. And so there are ways to get around even those price differentials. But again, that's asking the right questions. So don't take them for granted, because you want to be able to have sustainable business and a sustainable customer base. And that means ongoing.
Right.
Ongoing. And lastly, probably one of the things that we often forget, more and more bosses are doing it now because of where the economy is, but stay in touch with the front line.
Makes sense.
Too many supervisors and whatnot, they supervise, but they need to be down here. They need to listen to the frontline people. Somebody has built a whole TV series around it, and it's called Undercover Boss. Mm-hmm. And what do those bosses find? They come out of the tower, and they go right to the front lines, and they find out, oh man, we're not providing adequate training for our staff, or we're not providing appropriate maintenance in our facilities, or you know what, this product isn't selling like it should, mm-hmm. or who knows what. Mm-hmm. But where they find it out is down on the front lines. That's where the rubber meets the road, is down there, because those folks are making the first impression about your business too.
Right.
Right.
I mean, I watched one of those episodes a long time ago, and it was a chain of stores, but the reality was that they hadn't provided them with sufficient funds in operating expense in that store, even to change out fluorescent bulbs or the light on the sign. So you got 5 letters out of 10 in their sign out front. Well, what kind of presentation is that? You know. So they found out little operating things like that make a huge difference in terms of the customer experience. And that's what most people are looking for. They're looking for a customer experience. They want to enjoy where they are. Have you noticed most of the grocery stores now have a little cup holder so that you can put your coffee cup in it? They want you to stay longer. And where is the coffee? Where's the coffee vendor? Usually right up front. So you scoot by, you get your cup of coffee, and you put it in there, and you just kind of work all the aisles, you know.
That's it.
And it's a customer experience. And so important that you listen to that front line, and that you reward the front line. That was another thing that came out of many of those. They found those high performers, the really motivated people, and then they used them as role models and examples and trainers for others.
Right.
So keep those customers you got.
Definitely.
If you keep the customers you have, guess what? You will automatically grow in a customer base, because if you're happy, you're going to tell somebody else, you know, man, I got a great deal over here. Or we're dealing with gluten-free things right now with our grandkids, okay, because they've got celiacs and that type of thing. So we have found the stores that have the gluten-free stuff. So when we hear of somebody else that's saying, you know, man, I just found out my child needs to be gluten-free, and what do you recommend? I can tell them where to go, where they can find gluten-free products, and I can even tell them the brands that our kids like the most and where they're carried in the stores. Because that loyal customer then becomes a customer advocate for the newbie that's still out there in the bushes. So hang on to the one you got, and don't go running after those too quickly that you ignore your customer base. Let me share with you, we had a fantastic after hours last week at Badcock Furniture and More. We had over 100 folks there. It was great. We had a band, a great country band, and Appalachian Mountain Brewery did all of the catering. They did a great job. It was their first cater, and they did a super job. And Badcock gave away several $100s worth of cards for purchases there at the store. It was just a great experience. Our next one coming up in March, on March 20th, will be at the Holiday Inn Express, one of our nice hotels in town. Have you been in there?
Yes.
See, a lot of our local people, they don't, what do you mean, hotels? I don't need a hotel. Oh, wait a minute. Someday you might. You got family coming in,
Right.
and you want to know which one is going to do the best job for whatever. And they have a beautiful relief work in that wall.
Gorgeous.
It's beautiful work,
Yeah.
and just quite something to see. It becomes an attraction in itself. And so that's on March 20th, Thursday night, Holiday Inn Express. That's from 5 to 7 will be our next business after hours. Right now we're rolling out things for the Spelling Bee. That's coming up on March 18th. Great time. Y'all going to be in the Spelling Bee?
I'm the worst
I
speller.
am too.
Good, we need you there because we make money off of those.
That might be perfect then.
Yeah.
And a major portion of the proceeds that evening will go to an educational program here in the High Country that provides services and materials outside of what's provided through the regular educational program. So we're looking forward to that. We hope to be able to announce that group next week maybe as to who will be supporting. But the Spelling Bee is a great time. It's at the high school. We ask any group. It could be a business. It could be an organization. That we have PTAs, PTSOs from the schools. We have agencies that put together teams. We'll have about 30 to 40 different spelling teams, 4 members. You come up with a name, a costume, and a table decoration. And then we have a write-down spelling bee, and we have a lot of fun doing it. We'll be inviting our school winners to come. We'll auction off their services because many of the adult spellers need the fifth grader there to help them. And it's just a wonderful community evening. And then, again, much of the proceeds will be going towards that educational program. So we're looking forward to that as well.
Perfect.
So.
Sounds great. Well, lots of things going on.
Always. Lots of things happening in Boone. How much time do we have? Oh, we still got some time, don't we? The mattress firm just opened up, and next to it is going to be Chipotle.
Yay.
We understand that at Blockbuster Video is going to be IHOP and Starbucks in the same building.
Good
I mean, some of this, don't quote. You can quote me, but be careful. Zaxby's coming to town, corner of State Farm Road and 105.
Perfect.
We got another Bojangles out 421. We got another hotel coming to town shortly. Modern has announced that they're going ahead and building their new dealerships, Subaru and Toyota. Let's see. And the Fun Factory right here.
Right.
Great thing right there.
Yes.
Let's see, there's a couple other things coming.
The Scottish Inn and the Red Carpet Inn are coming down, and
That's
something's
right.
going there.
There's a plan for there. Was in a meeting with the university and Appalachian Regional Healthcare System, envisioning the new health science building, which is going to be out where the old Lowe's used to be. Actually, it's Lowe's 2. You know, we're in Lowe's 3 now, so it was Lowe's 2 across from their parking garage at the hospital. What an incredible potential boon to our community that will be. May have workforce housing for nurses and doctors and whatnot, and really become the kind of the anchor, if you wish. The hospital and this building be the anchor then for expanded medical park area with more medical services in there, opportunities for retail and restaurants, and so that, which is kind of exciting. That's a big deal coming down the pike. But and then I would just mention that we also met with the Economic Development Commission, met with the county commissioners on Saturday, and we shared with them a virtual business park, what it might look like, how it fits into our mountain geography, and talked about the needs, talked about the type of facilities that might be there. We're not talking about smokestacks and all that kind of thing. We're talking about nice buildings that might house things like computer businesses, some light manufacturing like sporting goods, hiking equipment, that kind of thing. Maybe a call center for somebody. Maybe a little research lab. Who knows? But things that are non-impactful in terms of environment and that really will fit in. We even showed them some buildings that had been built in other business parks so you can kind of see, okay, we're not talking about some big factory thing with smokestacks and all that. We're talking about a very pleasing looking building. So that's something down the road. They've kind of asked us to really look out the 421 corridor, which is the easiest to develop and the closest then to interstates, which is an important aspect. So that was a very satisfying meeting as well. So there are things going on, and a lot of things behind the scenes. There are other developers that are interested in doing other kinds of things at the IRC property, even some at the old high school property. Just have to kind of wait and see if they happen. And they'll be making their presentations to the planning boards, both in Boone and the county. And hopefully some of those will get worked out and we'll see them in the ground.
Perfect.
Because what they provide are jobs.
Right.
Absolutely.
And everybody here, you're concerned. You said your oldest is 12.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what? In 10 years, you know where you're going to want them to be, right? Graduated from college and finding a good job right here.
Right.
I mean, you'd love to have them right here.
Right.
They may not want to be, but anyway. But many of our graduates, high school and community college and the university, they want a good job right here.
Yes.
And so we have to start thinking ahead. I'll venture to say you're already saving for college.
Yes.
You got it, putting something away. And hopefully each one of us is also putting stuff away for retirement, even no matter how old you are. That's just insurance for the future. Well, the town and the county have to do the same thing. We can't just deal with the issues today, we have to also be putting it away for future needs and anticipating those. So I think we've got a great future ahead of us, and we're looking forward to that.
Perfect.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Dan, for coming in and sharing all
Always
this
a
with
pleasure.
us.
Thank you.
I'll see you next week.
Sounds like a plan. And we will be back right after these messages with more of the Mountain Television Network.